Window to the New World, Keeping Up with the Earth. Hello, my dear beloved children. Today I want to start a new topic, which is not new for you, but now it is still necessary to draw your attention to some of its nuances that have arisen recently. We will talk about restructuring not only your consciousness but also your physical body to new parameters that dictate the energies of completely different vibrations, much higher than those of a few years ago. Particularly noticeable energy changes have occurred in recent months. There are several reasons for this. The main thing is that the Earth, having overcome the threshold of the third dimension, has already firmly established itself in the fourth. As for people, some of them manage to keep pace with the Earth, maintaining their vibrations at the same level as it. This means that the energy gap between these people and the three-dimensional matrix with its prisoners, unawakened souls, is increasingly increasing. I see that some of you feel this almost physically. This is especially noticeable when you communicate with vaccinated people, whose vibrations decrease more and more every year. For many of you, this becomes a real obstacle to raising your vibrations, and therefore to further spiritual growth. Therefore, now we will talk about what steps you should take to overcome these obstacles that have arisen in your path. First, you need to outline the framework of what is permitted for those people from your environment who, in your opinion, are the cause of your disharmonious state, which does not allow you to keep your vibrations at the proper height. After you identify such people in your environment, you will have to carry out individual energy work with each of them. Now this should no longer be a one-time option, such as, for example, energetically disconnecting from this person or cleansing your subtle bodies of his negative energies, but establishing a strong and long-term blockade that does not allow him to influence you either energetically or physically. And next time we will talk about this in more detail. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you accepted by Marta, November 21, 2023. Window to the New World, Double Mirrors. Hello, my dear beloved children. So, as a continuation of my previous message, today I want to give you a practice for the long-term disconnection from your energetic space of those people in your immediate environment who you feel hurt you. And in this case, it doesn't matter whether this person is vaccinated or not, since, besides this category of people, there are many others whose low vibrations can pierce your subtle bodies. However, there is one, and a very significant one. If your emotions towards this person are negative, then these energies will return to you. Therefore, before you do this practice, you should make sure that you are already ready for it and will not harm yourself or others. So, let's get down to the practice itself, which we will call double mirrors. To do this, you need to call on all your heavenly helpers and enter a fairly deep meditative state. Then call upon the energy of the Great Central Sunday. After this, imagine the person from whom you want to completely disconnect, in a dense energy sphere with a mirror surface on both sides, internal and external. This sphere consists entirely of the energy of the Great Central Sunday. It is very bright, almost dazzling since the sun itself is reflected in its mirrors inside and outside. Thanks to these double mirrors, a person located inside this sphere is completely isolated from the surrounding energy space. He begins to literally cook in his juice, in this case, in his energies. At the same time, you do not violate any universal laws, since you do not influence them in any way. Your goal is to protect yourself from its negative energies, which destroy your subtle bodies and lower your vibrations. But the next stage of this practice will be to build the same energy sphere around yourself. It will reliably protect you from external influence from others, but what it cannot do is protect you from your negative energies, which will certainly return to you, mirrored from the inner surface of your sphere. That is why I warned you that before deciding on such a practice, you should make sure that you are ready for it, that your vibrations have already reached the level of unconditional love, which warms you and all the people around you, regardless of how they treat you. This is a huge responsibility, my dear ones, so before starting this meditation, be sure to ask your higher self if your vibration level matches it. This practice has another positive side. Thanks to it, you will be able to treat your emotions more responsibly since all of them will immediately boomerang back to you. This will teach you to constantly control yourself and instantly transform your negative thoughts and emotions into positive ones, for which you have already been given a lot of practice. And yet, do not rush to do this meditation if you are not yet completely confident in yourself. This is where we will stop today. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you, accepted by Marta, November 22, 2023. Window to the New World, Comfortable Content. Hello, my dear beloved children. As a continuation of my previous message, I want to give you today some more explanations and recommendations regarding the double mirrors practice. I know that many of you are filling your protective spheres with divine energies. This is a very good habit, but as for the sphere with double mirrors, filling it requires a special approach. And that's why. Since it is much stronger than other methods of protection and is also to some extent impenetrable, it is very important that the person inside this sphere, including yourself, feels comfortable in it. What do I mean by this expression? First of all, the level of your vibrations must harmoniously coincide with the vibrations of the energy that you will call upon. And as you already know, the range of these vibrations is very wide, from the energy of light and love to the energy of ascension. Therefore, before choosing the energy with which you would like to fill your sphere, you need to test yourself to find the most optimal option for you. And here's how you can do it. In a calm, relaxed state, begin to call upon the energies with which you are accustomed to working, one by one, and listen carefully to your sensations. It is best to choose something in between for yourself, for example, the energy of the Prime Creator of the universe, since this will give you some freedom in your thoughts and emotions. While you live in a three-dimensional world, it is very difficult for you to constantly maintain the highest scale of your vibrations. Too many external factors influence you. Therefore, if you fill your sphere with ascension energy, which is the energy of the fifth dimension, then you may experience some discomfort from too strong a vibrational difference between this energy and your own still unstable vibrations. Don't set the bar too high for yourself. Start small, because you can always call on other energy if you feel the need. As for the other person from whom you want to disconnect, you can fill his sphere with energies as well. But in this case, you no longer have the right to decide for him what energies he should live in. Therefore, the most correct formulation would be, I ask that such and such a person's sphere be filled with the energy in which he feels most comfortable, for the highest good of all. In this way, you will not violate the laws of the universe, which means you will not cause any harm to this person. And one last piece of advice regarding the double mirrors practice. Do not get carried away with it and use it only when there is an urgent need for it, if energy attacks from someone from your environment are particularly aggressive and constant. This is where we will stop today. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you, accepted by Marta, November 23, 2023. From impatience to calm expectation. Hello, my loves. I wanted to talk to you again because you are now entering a very important period in your life. As the earth frees itself more and more every day from the shackles of the three-dimensional world, it is sometimes difficult for a person to keep up with these invisible, but very important changes. Therefore, I decided to give you some tips to protect you from mistakes and help you adapt to this new reality for you faster and more painlessly. But first, let's look at what signs in your life indicate that the reality around you is starting to change. First of all, you should pay attention not to external factors, but to your internal state, since it is this that first reacts to energy transformations on your planet. Listen carefully to yourself and try to determine which emotions are most characteristic of you lately. Try to turn off your mind and listen to your heart and soul. Many of you will probably feel that your main emotion is impatience. And although its energy cannot be called high vibrational, nevertheless it well reflects the essence of what is happening both in your soul and on the planet as a whole. You are tired of waiting for changes that are meaningful to you and deeply feel how alien and outdated the three-dimensional world has become for you. Sometimes it seems to you that you are no longer participating in what is happening in it, but are only observing the unfolding actions as a spectator or a random passerby. You already live in another reality, or, rather, between two realities, the present and the future. But the present is moving further and further away from you as if dissolving in the haze of future changes, and the future still exists only in your imagination, however, becoming more and more distinct every day. It is this feeling that you have that indicates that the three-dimensional world is collapsing before your eyes, even if the external manifestations of this are only just emerging. But for the desired changes to come as quickly as possible, it is necessary to redirect your impatience into a creative direction, thereby raising your vibrations to the level of new vibrations of the earth, which has already finally entered the space of the fourth dimension. You can do this in different ways. Someone will be able to calm down their impatience mentally, through logical reasoning about the inevitability of the transition period, no matter how long and difficult it may be. And someone should work energetically to calm the impatience that gripped them through meditation and practices to harmonize their state of mind. But in any case, the driving force on the path to a new life should be creative thoughts and emotions, calm and harmonious. Haste and vanity, both energetic and mental, are only an obstacle on the path to ascension. Remember often that everything is going according to the Creator's plan and that the Earth's transition to the fifth dimension is inevitable since it has already taken place on the subtle plane. And all you need to fit into his orbit is wisdom, peace of mind, and detachment from the passions boiling in the world. Remelt your impatience into calm expectation, releasing the situation to the will of the Creator. And this will already help speed up the long-awaited changes on earth. I bless you, my beloved. Virgin Mary spoke to you, accepted by Marta, November 24, 2023. Window to the New World, integration of new energies into the collective consciousness of humanity. Hello, my dear beloved children. Today I want to give you another practice that will help you maintain your vibration at a level not lower than the fourth dimension. To some extent, it is a continuation of the double mirrors practice, since its goal is to maintain your harmonious state so that your protective sphere is safe for yourself. It is a little different from those to which you are accustomed, since new energies require a different approach on the part of the awakened part of the Earth's population. Your responsibility for the fate of humanity is now increasing many times over, since the majority of the vaccinated inhabitants of your planet are no longer able to think for themselves, which means that it is up to you to actively resist the plans of the globalists. So, let's move on to the practice itself, which we will call integration of new energies into the collective consciousness of humanity. This practice has two parts. The first part is the integration of new high vibrational energies into your consciousness and your subtle bodies. And the second part is the transfer of your new energy state into the collective consciousness of humanity. Now this becomes especially important, because, as you already understood from the previous series of my messages, the deep state has a large assortment of new surprises for the inhabitants of the earth. To avoid the danger that threatens you, it is necessary to extremely increase the vibrations of the collective consciousness of humanity. And you can already do it. As I have said many times, even one awakened person is worth hundreds, and sometimes thousands, of unawakened ones. Especially when you consider that among them there are not many pure human souls, which, by and large, determine the fate of your planet and humanity as a whole. So, let's move on to the first part of our practice, which is working and does not require a deep meditative state. But still, before you start, call on all your heavenly helpers. You can do it anywhere when you are in a state of solitude and peace. To start, you should focus your attention on your golden triangle. Try to feel well or even see with your inner vision the bright, shining, sparkling energy space between your pineal gland and 6th and 7th chakras. Feel the top of your head literally burning. It is even possible that you will feel the chakras pulsating or spinning there. And only after this call upon the energy of dissolution of the three-dimensional matrix. Ask this energy to dissolve all third-dimensional programming in your conscious and subconscious mind and move your consciousness and all your bodies, including your physical body, into the fourth-dimensional energy space. And then listen carefully to your feelings. Of course, they will be different for everyone, but you will feel some movement in your aura, especially in the area of your upper chakras. To begin with, you can do this practice as a meditation to anchor new sensations in your energetic space. But its main purpose is for you to learn how to do it on the go, to correct your condition in time, thus constantly maintaining your vibrations at the level of the fourth dimension. This is where we will stop today. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you accepted by Marta, November 24, 2023. Window to the New World, Integration of New Energies into the Collective Consciousness of Humanity, continued. Hello, my dear beloved children. Today we move on to the second part of the practice, integration of new energies into the collective consciousness of humanity. It, unlike the first part, requires a deep meditative state, since working with the collective consciousness of humanity implies great responsibility. Before moving on to it, you need to make sure that you by yourself have already reached a state where your vibrations are consistently high, which means your consciousness has reached the level of at least the fourth dimension. To understand whether this is so, you need to listen carefully to yourself and use a hygrometer to determine the level of your current vibrations. And you can start meditation only if your vibrations do not fall below the sixth chakra. So, once you are confident that you have something to share with the collective consciousness of humanity, you can begin to meditate. Having called upon all your heavenly helpers, enter a fairly deep meditative state. And do the first part of this practice first. And at the very peak of your sensations, when you feel the upper part of your head light up, mentally establish an energy channel connecting your upper chakras and the collective consciousness of humanity. You can imagine it as your intuition tells you, since in this case the main thing is not the visualization of the egregore of the collective consciousness of humanity, but your intention to connect with it energetically. After you feel that the energetic connection with the collective consciousness of humanity has been established, send the energy of dissolution of the three-dimensional matrix into it through your channel. The sensations in this case can be very different. Energy can move through your channel in the form of pulsations, tremors, an even slow flow, and for some, in the form of a rapid flow. Having started this process, do not try to control it, allowing this intelligent energy to flow in the rhythm that it considers most harmonious for you. Stay in meditation until the flow of energy subsides. The main goal of this meditation is to conduct the energy of dissolution of the three-dimensional matrix through your energetic space and send it into the collective consciousness of humanity already grounded by you. Thanks to this, the circulation of this energy will be ensured between the subtle and physical planes already at the level of the fourth dimension, since it is in this dimension that people vibrate at the upper chakras are located. Thus, my dear ones, you will be able to make a significant contribution to raising the vibrations of the collective consciousness of humanity, thereby accelerating the long-awaited transition to the fifth dimension. And I bless you for this. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you accepted by Marta, November 25, 2023. Window to the New World, to gain a foothold in the fourth dimension. Hello, my dear beloved children. Today I want to give you another piece of advice on working with new high vibrational energies. Some of you may have noticed that there were many days this month when your sensitivity was heightened, and sometimes this affected your physical condition. This is explained by the fact that the increasing frequency of flares on the sun contributed to the wave-like flow of energies of very high vibrations to the earth, to which it was not easy for you to adapt. And now I will tell you what needs to be done to ensure that your energetic, physical, and mental state remain stable under any circumstances. It is very important to learn to track your sensations in the golden triangle area. Take as a basis the first part of the practice, integration of new energies into the collective consciousness of humanity. Get used to maintaining the state of being a receiver of the energy of dissolution of the three-dimensional matrix, no longer occasionally, but constantly. This will allow you not to fall out of the fourth-dimensional energy space in which your consciousness and all your bodies are located during this practice. Of course, I understand how many external factors affect you throughout the day. But you can always find at least a short period between your daily activities to focus your attention on your upper chakras and, as if throwing firewood into a dying fire, reconnect to the flow of high vibrational energy of the dissolution of the three-dimensional matrix. So, Gradually you will learn to constantly be in the flow of new energies filling your planet, which will help you not only adapt to them more easily but also cleanse the energy space around you. This will happen by itself, without additional effort on your part, since you will unconsciously anchor this energy to the earth. And the more often you do this, the more the energy around you will change, and therefore the behavior of people who find themselves in your orbit. Try, my dear ones, to live in this mode for at least one day, and you will see a colossal difference both in your state of mind and in the state of the people around you. This is where we will stop today. The Father Absolute, who loves you immeasurably, spoke to you. Accepted by Marta, November 27, 2023.